How's it going, everybody? It's Andrew here again from the Real and Modern Off YouTube channel, and today we are going to give our Matchday 28 predictions for the Bundesliga. But before we do, we're going to give our Matchday 27 results, and I think we actually did pretty well this week, to be fair. Out of the 9 games, we got 6 correct. So starting off with Hertha Berlin, Union Berlin, I predicted a 1-0 and it actually ended up 4-0 to Hertha. Gladbach against Leverkusen, this is the game that I was really sort of torn on with my heart on. I predicted a 2-1 to Leverkusen and actually the 1-3-1, and it was near comfortable in the end. Definitely surprised me now by the 2-goal margin rather than the 1-goal margin. Next up there was Freiburg, and they were playing Bremen. We predicted a 2-0 here, and Bremen actually stole it 1-0. They actually got a win for a change, 1-0 to Werder Bremen. Paderborn against Hoffenheim, we predicted a 2-0 to Hoffenheim. Paderborn scored, Hoffenheim scored, that's ended up 1-1. Wolfsburg against Borussia Dortmund, we predicted a tight 2-1, and to be fair, I watched this game back and it was tight. Borussia Dortmund they were labouring to a 2-0 win. It was pretty comfortable for them really, but they laboured to it. They weren't with their usual style and panache that they have, so it'll be interesting to see coming up this week now. Bayern Munich, Frankfurt, Bayern Munich versus Frankfurt, we predicted a 3-0 to Bayern Munich. It ended up a 3-0 score, a 3-0 swing anyway, with 5-2, so Bayern Munich conceding 2 sloppy goals. Hinteregger from Frankfurt, the top goal scoring centre half for them, he got 2 in quick succession. Bayern pulled it back 5-2. Schalke 1, Augsburg 0. We predicted Schalke 1, Augsburg 0. It actually ended up 3-0 to Augsburg. So, do we class that as a shock? I don't know. Do you class that as a shock? Because, you know, Schalke's route runner has been awful, and we'll get into that later on. Next up we have Mainz, and they got demolished by Leipzig. We predicted a 4-0. After I'd done the recording, I thought to myself, really, 4-0 to Leipzig? Am I pushing the boat out here? And then I thought, well, okay, they've already beat them 8-0, so we don't know what's going to happen. 5-0 they ended up, and some of them goals were absolutely brilliant. Fuck, what a game. They were absolutely brilliant, Leipzig. And Cologne against Dusseldorf, we predicted a 1-1. The game ended up a 2-2. We got a Desmond there. So that was 6 out of 9 this week, which is probably one of my best predictions. Coming up, I have the league table on the screen here for you, just for everybody to browse through at the minute. We've a very important match day coming up this week, especially with their Klassiker. You know, the Klassiker for me is the Klassiker better than Real Madrid and Barcelona? Yes, I'd say it is. I say football in terms, it's up there, you know, for quality, and it's right up there for me as one of the top 3 world games in football. You know, Man United Liverpool's probably number 1, and then I'd say Bayern Munich Borussia Dortmund's number 2, and then I would go Real Madrid Barcelona. And that's not just coming from a fan of Bundesliga. That's coming from somebody who genuinely believes that the talent on show in Germany's top 2 teams is on par, if not better, than the top 2 teams in Spain in La Liga. So we're going to cross over now to the Bundesliga games this weekend. So first up, we've got Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich. This is the game that everybody looks forward to every year. Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and it's so sad that we've got no crowd this year. For this version of this game anyway. Between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, I think Bayern Munich, if they win this game, I think the Meisterschaft is gone. I think Borussia Dortmund can't afford to lose this one. If Borussia Dortmund do lose, then they will be looking at the teams below them, because Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen are pushing hard right up behind them. And I just think that, okay, Dortmund have 6 games won and 5 clean sheets. Just trying to check my stats. Dortmund 6 straight wins with 5 clean sheets, and Bayern Munich, they actually average 3 goals every away game, or it's near enough, it's 2.85 every away game. And this type of game for me is where Borussia Dortmund can go on a run of games and they can win, and then they come up against Bayern Munich and everybody thinks, okay, they've got a chance, and maybe they do have a chance, but Bayern Munich just assert their dominance, and they're just like, sit down, boy, you know daddy's here to take over. And that's kind of the feeling I get with this game. Now, even if you look at, I'm going to actually look at the bookies odds here for this, because You know, I think it's going to be a pretty tight game, to be fair. I do think it's going to be tight. As of now, Borussia Dortmund are 13-5, Bayern Munich are 6-7, so they're near enough even money as an away team. So the bookies do fancy Bayern Munich to get this. I actually have this game down as a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go for a Desmond in this game because I think there's going to be goals on either side. I think there's going to be chances on either side. And I think there's going to be concessions of goals either side. So I have this one down as a 2-2 draw. I think this one's a bit of a free hit because it is such a big game. But I wouldn't be surprised actually if either team won this game, or either team, wouldn't say got heavily beat now because it doesn't usually happen. Well, to Bayern Munich anyway, it does to Dortmund. But if both teams, if this ended up a draw, or Bayern Munich won or Borussia Dortmund won, I just wouldn't be surprised. This is for me the hardest game to call of the season, mainly around Europe actually, to be fair, based on the two teams. Next game we're going to show is Bayer Leverkusen against Wolfsburg. Now, Leverkusen, when you look at this here, you think that, okay, Bayer Leverkusen are sitting in 4th place and Wolfsburg is sitting in 6th, and you look at it and you go, okay, they're pretty close together. But Bayer Leverkusen are 14 points ahead of Wolfsburg in the league. And Leverkusen, they proved a massive test. It was a massive test against Borussia Mönchengladbach, especially after getting beat 2-1 at the start of the season in the Bayer Arena, and then going to Gladbach in Borussia Park and actually winning 3-1. And it was a real display. Kai Havertz put on another display again. And I said they would win, and I thought they would win, but this again was more comfortably than I thought. And Leverkusen have got 11 wins from 12 in all competitions, so again they're right up there with Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich in the form table. And Wolfsburg have 1 win and 6. I think, although you know all these runs and stats, they do sort of, there is a spanner thrown into the works here. And as much as I am going to kick myself for saying it, and you know I'm going to be watching as many games as I can this midweek as well, especially the first 2 games on the screen here. And I think this is going to be a spanner in the works game, and I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think this is going to be a draw. Leverkusen do concede goals, especially at home, and Wolfsburg, you know, they're not the greatest team in Bundesliga in terms of putting runs of wins together, but they don't really get beat either. And I think this is going to be a spanner in the works game, so I do. So we're going to go for a 1-1 draw on that. So there's 2 draws to start off with, so hopefully it picks up from here. Next game is coming up as Eintracht Frankfurt at home to Freiburg. Frankfurt, okay, they got 2 goals against Bayern Munich, but I mean they were getting picked apart in the first 45 minutes. Was just a walk in the park for Bayern Munich, and I thought maybe Munich took their foot off the gas a wee bit in the second half. Hinteregger, obviously, like, their centre half is their top goal scorer. It basically tells you all you need to know about Eintracht Frankfurt. I done a video of the first video I did here was mention the exploits that they have up front. They sold their best players, sold Luka Jovic to Real Madrid, and they never really replaced him. Kostic has been good for Frankfurt, and the boy from AC Milan, the Portuguese boy, his name escapes, Andre Silva. Andre Silva has actually done okay, but I don't think they've got it up front. I mean, they're not sitting at the bottom, near the bottom of the table for anything, and they actually could get drawn into the relegation scrap depending on the other results going on here. So Freiburg's last away day saw them get a point in Leipzig, while Frankfurt lost 5-2 in Munich. Frankfurt have 4 straight losses, all competitions, but I just think Freiburg are the better of these 2 teams, even if they did have a disaster against Werder Bremen. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Freiburg here. I know I predicted 2-0 Freiburg in the last game, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Freiburg here in this one. Next game we've got coming up on Tuesday night, to round off Tuesday night's fixtures. We've got Werder Bremen at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. For me, Gladbach's the title hopes are gone for them. They needed to beat Leverkusen because I think they play Bayern Munich coming up very, very shortly anyway, and to go into a game against Bayern Munich only maybe 3 or 4 points behind them instead of 7, 8, maybe 9 points behind them, it's not going to do their chances any good. And after losing to Leverkusen, and if Bayern win their Klassiker, it's gone. So they're going to know whether the title's gone if Bayern win before they even play, which is quite interesting. Bremen produced unthinkable after a 1-0 win over Freiburg at the weekend, and that was their first win since Matchday 18. I think Marcus Thuram and Alassane Plea Marcus Thuram, he looks like a real handful. He looks like a real top quality player. I know his dad was a centre half, but this guy is, I mean, he's a powerhouse and he is fast. And I just don't think Werder Bremen are going to be able to cope with him. And I actually have this game down as a 3-0 Gladbach. I think it's going to be 3-0 to Gladbach on that one. Starting off Wednesday night's games, we've got Leipzig, Rasenballsport Leipzig at home to Hertha Berlin. Both teams are in good recent form, so this is a difficult game to call. Leipzig beat Hertha 3-1 in the first fixture. Had a bit of money on that one. Happy days. And they laid down the beating on Mainz. Timo Werner with a hat-trick. He was the star attraction, but for me, Marcel Sabitzer, I've said on this channel before, and I watch him, and if you don't watch RB Leipzig or you haven't seen Rasenballsport Leipzig too much, I'd watch Marcel Sabitzer. Again, he's another star quality player. I think he's actually 27, the Austrian, and for me, he's just at the peak of his powers at the minute. And I heard there was demolition derby against Union Berlin. I don't think Union stood a chance. They put up a bit of a fight in the first half. Second half they got demolished, and 4-0 actually didn't flatter them. But in terms of this game, I'm going to go for I'm going to think Leipzig are going to nick it again, like they did against Berlin in the first game. I think it's going to be a 2-1 to Leipzig. I think they're going to put the pressure on the Borussia Dortmund. I think Bayern are just too good, and I do think that Leipzig will put the pressure on Borussia Dortmund with a win over Hertha Berlin. What have we got coming up next? We have got Hoffenheim versus Cologne. So with Hoffenheim versus Cologne, these sheets are over the place because I did my fixtures on Flash Scores compared to what Flash Scores had up in their fixtures. So the home team, they laboured to a draw against the Bundesliga basement team and have 5 lost in 8 and drawn 3, while Cologne lost 2-0 lead against Mainz, and then they actually salvaged a 2-2 draw after coming from 2-0 down against Dusseldorf in the last game. Cologne's goals were very good in that game against Dusseldorf at the weekend, and I think Eric Tommy, again, like, I'm just picking out these players that I think that I enjoy watching and that I think are good players that come maybe from, you know, from underneath the Jadon Sanchos and the Marco Reus's and the Thiago's, players like that. And I quite like Eric Tommy that plays for Cologne. I think he's a class B player. I think he could definitely make it big. But in this game, I actually fancy a Cologne to win 1-0. They just have a good run of form. They haven't knocked up too many wins recently. They have 2 draws. As I say, 2 draws, but I think Cologne will win this 1-0. What have we got next? We've got Fortuna Dusseldorf, and they are playing Schalke. So Fortuna Dusseldorf against Schalke. Fortuna Dusseldorf against Schalke. Well, as I said earlier, if you put the Rückrunde into Google, Rückrunde 2020 into Google, Schalke's name comes up because their Rückrunde form has been, am I saying that right? Rückrunde. Their Rückrunde form has been terrible. 1 win, 4 draws, 4 losses, and for them to be sitting, I think they're 8th in the table. For them to be sitting 8th in the table, 37 points with only 9 wins, 10 draws, and 8 losses. They're a middling team, really, and they lost a bit of form. And I think they're actually going to lose a couple of players in the summer as well. I think Amon Hart would probably leave Schalke this season and go to somewhere else in the Bundesliga. I actually think he's too good for that team. So I do. Second half of the season, as I said, they won 1, lost 2. Sorry, 1-1, lost 4, drawn 4. Dusseldorf, however, have had 4 draws in their last 5. And again, I was talking about Eric Tommy. I think this one's going to be a 2-2 draw. So I'm going to have, I have this down as a 1-1 draw. I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw. I can't separate these 2 teams. Dusseldorf, obviously, they are 15th or 16th in the league, but I can't separate these 2 teams at all, so I can't. Augsburg against Paderborn. Augsburg had an outstanding victory in their last game against Schalke. Absolutely outstanding victory. So it was resounding in the end, and that was the end of the 4-game losing streak for them. Paderborn have drawn the last 2 in respectable fashion. As I see this as a low scoring affair. Definitely 2 teams who don't really put on a football and clinic up front, although Augsburg did win 3-0 in their last outing, and Paderborn have scored. Well, they drew the first game 0-0, but they scored in their second game. They got a goal in it, so I'm going to have this one down as an Augsburg 1-0. I'm going to go with home team, and I'm going with the home team because of their 1-0 win or their 3-0 win, so I think the form's maybe going to continue for them. The last game I have on my sheet here is Union Berlin against Mainz. So if Union win here, it's a big boost for them, and that's because that's 2 games they've lost, and the 2 games that they've lost were against Bayern Munich, top of the table Bayern Munich, and Hertha Berlin, and that's a fierce local derby. And I said in the previous video that I thought, you know, it'll be a tight derby game, and I was going for the derby day, typical derby day result in a 1-0, and Union were exploited very, very badly in that game, and Hertha took control, and Hertha's new manager has really given them a lift. So again, as I say, they've lost the 2 games. If Mainz win here, they pull Frankfurt into it, and that's assuming that Frankfurt and Leipzig Frankfurt and Freiburg, and I predicted Freiburg to beat them 2-0. So if Mainz win here, that really pulls Frankfurt into the relegation zone. Personally, I think Mainz have the better form. Well, they statistically have the better form out of the 2 teams. So I'm going to go here. I have a 2-1 win to Mainz on this one. I think Mainz are going to do it 2-1. So that's the end of the video for this week, guys. For this midweek fixtures. Probably going to do a video on Thursday night, and that's going to be for the fixtures coming out on Friday, because Bayern 04, they play Freiburg on Friday night, so that's a wee beer and a wee bet on Friday night watching that match. And if you have any predictions that you want to give me, or you like this video, you can like and comment and subscribe, and again, do comment down below and let me know what you think. I'm going to put up a wee picture just on the end of this video anyway, and it'll show you, probably coming up here right now, it'll show you the predictions for this week, so you can pause the video at the end and just let me know what you think. Really appreciate these guys for tuning in again, and we hope to see you for another video come Thursday, Friday morning. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.